Welcome back to the channel, everyone. This is Mehul, and right now I'm going to be talking to you a little bit about New York City. Yep, the city that never sleeps, the Big Apple, this place that literally I have been to that I don't think is like any other place in the world. Now, what I'm going to be talking to you a little bit about today is my experiences and some of the best things that I felt that I wanted to share with you about New York. Number one, it is the food. New York City's food is known all around the world. And when you think of New York, you think of pizza, you think of hot dogs, you think of burgers, those types of things. Well, New York City's pizza is absolutely amazing. Many people say it's because of the water that they put into it, but you can go around and get dollar slices and have cheap eats wherever you go. However, some places, I must say, even though it's known for its dollar slices, they're probably more around $4 or $5. And you can find some amazing eateries all around Manhattan and even Brooklyn. And it's a big thing to New Yorkers about what is the best dollar slice. But also the portions of those slices. They're not like regular pizza slices. You could literally have one slice and that could fill you up for the day. It could be a good lunch, it could be a good dinner, it could be a nice, quick, cheap eat. Hot dogs. Again, hot dogs. That's what everybody loves about New York. You can find them everywhere. You got street vendors selling them. You got actual stores. Nathan's is one of the most popular chains that there is that sells hot dogs. You can definitely throw yourself into that real New Yorker experience. But one of the best things about New York is also its diverse population. And because of that, it's there in the food, and no matter where you go, you can try various different cuisines. You can also hit up various different street carts. You see street vendors everywhere in New York, and I know for a lot of countries they might have a little bit of a bad reputation, but those street vendors are ingrained into New York City. Do check those out because the street food in New York is really good. The next best thing about New York is Central Park. When you're busy, in the hustle and bustle, traffic past, footfall absolutely crazy. You're literally caught in the middle of the rat race. It's a busy place. People want to get to somewhere. People don't have time to wait. You can literally take yourself away and have a nice peaceful stroll around Central Park. And you wouldn't think a place like that would be in a city like New York. It is absolutely beautiful. You take in the greeneries, you've got the ponds, you've got the lakes, you've got the fountains. It's absolutely brilliant. You've got people there doing tricks and playing music. It's just a completely different vibe to the rest of the city. You got people also selling food, peanuts. Even though you still got that hustle and bustle of New York, you literally feel like you are isolated away from it because visually it just looks so different. And if you can find certain points, you can literally see the New York skyline in the background, and it just feels absolutely amazing that you're literally in a completely different world. Another thing that is amazing about New York is the shopping. And I'm looking at all of you shoppers out there. You will not have a problem finding a store that you would want to spend some money in. You know, when we kind of went, I was so excited to go to Macy's because it was like, oh my God, you only see Macy's on TV. Essentially, it's just a big department store. But we still got really excited about it. Walking around Fifth Avenue and seeing all the shops that are there. Walking around Times Square, seeing all the shops that are there. Even though they're probably shops that you see back home, it's just exciting that you're in New York and it's just everything's much more grander, much more bigger. But a good thing about New York is that you can literally take a bus from New York City to New Jersey and do some cheap shopping, as I think it's because they pay different taxes. They don't pay the same amount of taxes that they do in New York. So if you want to save some value, get on to a bus from New York, head over to New Jersey's outlets, and you can shop until you drop. The next best thing about New York is the various different boroughs. If you feel like venturing out of Manhattan, you will go to various boroughs and it's like you're in a completely different part of New York. I personally, when I went there, I only went up to Queens to watch the baseball, but I spent a lot of time down in Brooklyn and it's just a completely different vibe to Manhattan. It's a lot more chilled, it's a lot more slower paced. You go there, you go to Dumbo, and it just looks absolutely beautiful. That's where you get all the stunning architecture. You're able to kind of go down onto the Hudson River and just see that skyline of Manhattan there. You can go have an ice cream sit, chill. Many people say a lot of the best pizzas are in Brooklyn as well. So it's much more chilled, Much more beautiful, because when you think of New York, see those typical sort of redstone houses and those stoops that everyone kind of sits on, you will see them everywhere in Brooklyn. And if you want to kind of just be able to experience a different part of New York City, head over to Brooklyn. Recommend walking across the Brooklyn Bridge, because it is definitely an experience. For me, I found it quite enjoyable. Obviously, there are parts of the Brooklyn Bridge where it is absolutely packed, but I generally got that it was in the beginning and the end. When you kind of get to the middle, I felt that it was quite a lovely, gentle stroll across the bridge. And that's where you kind of get to look back, see the skyline of New York while you're crossing the famous Brooklyn Bridge. One of the things about New York is that you will never be bored. There's so many things that you can do there that literally can take up all of your time. When I went to New York, I went for around 10 days, and I could still go back. And I could still go back and spend another lengthy time there, because I feel like I barely scratched the surface. Whether it's going around, seeing all the various different buildings that you see on TV, so like the Empire State Building, the Rockefeller Building, Chrysler Building, you can head up Times Square, Fifth Avenue, you can head over to the Hudson, get on a boat and go see the Statue of Liberty. There's so many things for you to be able to go and see and experience, and it's a place that you can never truly get bored. You might want to go to a theatre show on Broadway. It's so vast on the activities that you can do in New York. It is not known as the city that never sleeps for nothing. No matter what time of the day, what time of the night that you go out, there will be activity going on. Shops are still open. Well, some shops are still open. People are still about. There's still traffic on the streets. You're hearing noise left, right and centre. And that's quite exciting, because normally you come from places that it might chill. You go in the evening, you go sleep and relax, and the whole city switches off. Not New York. It has that reputation as a city that never sleeps, and it's definitely one that you can see why when you go there. There's still so much activity going on through the night. And lastly, one of the best things about New York, I must say, it's the people. New Yorkers often have a bad reputation. They're seen as moody, not helpful. When I went there, I experienced something completely different. Personally, I think Londoners are more rude than New Yorkers. I literally had no problem with them. They were always kind of willing to kind of help you out, give you directions, give you advice on what to go and see. Yeah, I think New Yorkers have got a bad rep for literally no reason. So when you go there, you'll see the people are actually really lovely, and they'll always be there to kind of help you out if you do have any questions. That was some of the things that I kind of felt that I really enjoyed about New York. Let me know what you guys think is the best things about New York City in the comment section below. And if you haven't already, please make sure that you like and subscribe to the channel. There's a lot more videos on the way.